Hey, thanks for clicking on the video. Going to be another episode of Reforge Gaming News talking about Elden Ring cheaters. Some are getting banned, some are not, and runes are being sold on eBay. What exactly is going on? I'm going to give you a really quick breakdown right here at the beginning of the video. That way you can watch the rest of the live stream if you want, but if you're looking for the real quick information, we try to put it right here at the beginning. Hit subscribe and the bell button so you don't miss my live streams, and you can be here for the discussion, the live polls, and the gameplay as well. This is a Reforge update. Elden Ring cheaters are in the game, and some are getting banned, some are not, and runes are even being sold on eBay. What exactly is going on? We're going to try and break this down for you as quickly as we can here on Reforge Update. So the situation is sort of evolving. We're hearing reports of cheaters showing up in PvP. We're hearing reports of players that are invincible or not able to be killed. We're also seeing reports of people that are using just the offline cheats, and then once they go online, they get banned, as well as people that I said are selling runes on eBay. So what exactly is going on? PC Gamer with a report here says Elden Ring has been out for a week, and we've already seen a mod that lets you pause the game. Now, an industrious Nexus mods user going by the handle Marcus has already produced a cheat table for Elden Ring using the popular cheat engine utility. If this sounds like something for you, read on. If not, you're not going to want to see what they have. So they walk through basically how to download it, how to install it. They caution people against doing it because apparently it can come with third-party software. So I would encourage nobody to download that utility and use it. It could, again, put stuff on your computer that shouldn't be there, and it could result in a ban from the game because these cheats only work in offline mode. Now, we are hearing reports of people running into other players in the wild during online mode and actually experiencing playing against cheaters, which is extremely unfortunate. We hope that the easy anti-cheat can catch these people and prevent them from ruining that experience. Some people have been banned after going online using the offline only cheats. If they're giving themselves runes or other ways that you can basically cheat offline to bypass some of that early game grind, you may end up facing a ban once you go back online. Now, it gets worse because one of the things we talked about recently was there were some rune farms, and I got some criticism from people in the comments. They said, listen, that's actually a completely legitimate thing to do. These are just farms in the game. These aren't really exploits. That is a fair point. I maybe shouldn't have used the word exploit, but some of it did feel a little bit exploitative when you go to one particular part of the map and you interact with this boulder and you know that it's going to, yield you a ton of runes for a very, very small amount of effort. Most people said this is par for the course for games like this. You find a really good farming spot and you just sort of farm it. Well, it gets way worse than just people finding farming spots or maybe finding some sort of an exploit or an area that gives them a ton of runes for very low effort. According to IGN, Elden Ring players are selling runes on eBay, okay? A quick search for Elden Ring runes on eBay reveals dozens of listings with a variety of price ranges from $10 for 1 million runes to $25 for 20 million, and even higher in some cases. Suffice it to say, 1 million runes would help a player over-level beyond the game what it is built for, helping them avoid much but not all of the challenge of the notoriously tough game. So essentially what you're doing is buying a character, some kind of a character that probably used the cheating apps to just basically boost itself up to a certain number of runes, and then they're selling it on eBay so then you can sort of bypass the need to get cheat software or things of that nature. I'm going to caution people against doing any of this. Don't use the apps, don't buy runes, just play the game. It's a great game. There are ways for you to grind and get your character up a little bit stronger if you're having trouble. There's all kind of guides out there on different summons in the game that can be hugely influential over the fights. One of the worst things you can do in a game like this is to cheat or literally pay for shortcuts. So be leery of this and don't do it. As always, let us know what you think in the comments below. Hit subscribe and the bell button, and I'll see you in the next one. And I'll see the rest of you right now. I think I forgot to say this is a Reforge update at the beginning of that one. I just launched straight into it. Sorry about that, creature. You might have to grab one from another video. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you guys so much for being here. Continuing with our Elden Ring coverage, there's not been any major significant gaming news that has been going on. We will be doing another episode over on Reforge Radio this afternoon, so if you haven't shown up for those, today we'll be discussing some criticism that Ellen is getting about objectifying one of her guests. Is this a double standard? Is this something that's just common in Hollywood? We'll make sure and check that out this afternoon, and I'll be discussing that with you. If you guys have missed the Reforge Radio episodes, they've been particularly good. Talking about Kanye's new video, can artwork go too far? We kind of use something that happens, like with Kanye, as a catalyst to conversation. So make sure and check out Reforge Radio over there, youtube.com/Reforge Radio. If you're over here on Reforge Gaming, we appreciate the continued support of the talk show as well as the gameplay in the afternoons. Make sure you switch to live chat and then smash that like button. Great way to start the day and get this stream started strong. Really strong turnout already. We love to see those first 100 likes. You have a stock one cut for when that happens? Okay, good. I was going to say, I just launched straight into it. I wasn't even paying attention. James says, to be honest, 1 million runes is basically nothing. I farmed over 4 million and it barely gave me 20 levels at my point in the game. Right, as you get further in Elden Ring, the runes required for leveling is going to be significantly difficult. Like, you're not going to have an easy time just plowing through. I think generally speaking, that's because they anticipate you being in those harder areas, and then those harder areas yield, stronger amounts of runes so that your character can level up accordingly. So when you take these shortcuts, you really, I think, short-circuit a lot of what makes the early, mid, and late game so satisfying, is that you get that payout for going into those areas, and I think it's well worth it to not take any of these shortcuts, whether you're cheating or whether or not you are, buying runes on eBay. Yo, it's good, Gritter. I saw on Twitter that other devs are jealous over Elden Ring. Yeah, and the one guy said his tweets to private or protected or whatever. They basically seemed a little salty at Elden Ring's success, and I know there was a report I saw that this was a guy, the developer was from Horizon Forbidden West. And, the drop in sales for Horizon Forbidden West literally happened right when Elden Ring launched. And it's not surprising that when a very, very highly anticipated game, literally 2 years in a row winning the most anticipated game of the year award, it's not surprising that affected the sales of the other major launch. Yes, everybody was probably buying Forbidden West at a good clip and enjoying it. It's a good game, not without its own problems, but it was a very, very good game, and I enjoyed it, and I gave it a high score, and I would love to go back and play pretty completionist through it because it is a fun game. However, it's not surprising that the Elden Ring release date slowed things down for them. And, they were taking issue with the lack of quest. I think the guy that went protected, took an issue with the lack of, quest logs. And it's have you ever played a FromSoftware game? That's not really the kind of game you're signing up for. Not every game has a quest log. Not every game is going to give you 8 bullet points of where to go and what to do. And that's not really an appropriate way to critique a game, right? I mean, if we want to critique based on what games are supposed to do, then sure, critique Elden Ring for struggling with, performance issues, which I think is harder for Horizon Forbidden West to do, because Horizon Forbidden West had its own performance issues and still continues to have its own performance issues. The flickering and stuff that happens, they still haven't fixed those things. So I found their tweets to be very petty. I thought it was completely silly to even say the things they were saying. There was a dev crying on Twitter about another company making a good game. Basically, what it was it started with a tweet from somebody that said something to the effect of, you can still have insane sales for your game and spend virtually something about UI and UX not mattering, right? Basically they were saying that your UI and your UX don't matter, my life is a lie. So this was no doubt this was somebody who has probably spent a large portion of their time working on making UI and UX designs to be very, very good, and then they see Elden Ring just crushing it with incredibly stripped down UI and UX and not a lot of polish, not a lot of spit shine. It's very basic, right? And so I could kind of understand the first tweet being like, and to a certain extent it lacks self-awareness. It's like, yeah, you dum-dum, that's not what makes for a good game. A game can crush it and have a very basic UI. Is this news to you? Like, is this your first rodeo? Some of the most popular games in the world have very basic UI and UX. Like, what the frick are you talking about? It was like, you're in the game development world and you don't know this? That you should know this. That you don't need super shiny UI and UX. And also, super shiny UI and UX isn't going to make a bad game good. Today's stream title would make a good t-shirt. Cheaters get banned. Lido Diaz with 3 months of membership. Did you see the Elden Ring meme Jay Schreier reposted? It's painfully real, and there's so many people salty about it. No, I didn't. He's a UI designer. The tweet was dumb, but the UI is pretty crap. Right, and that has no bearing on the game's quality, and it shouldn't be shocking. It shouldn't be shocking to a UI or a UX designer that's not that's not necessarily what makes for a good game. You know, there's plenty. I think there's plenty of games out there that do this. They don't really focus on those things. I mean, let's be honest. Yeah, I mean, here we go. This is actually very, very funny. He's Schreier taking a bit of a dig here at the whole UI thing. Let me pull this up for you. The idea that, like, well, let's make it look like every other game out there, because this is actually common as well. This is common as well to go a little wild with the UI, and this is obviously very hyperbolic in its execution. But look, I mean, there's everything. There's your quick bar, there's your mini map, there's your main quest, there's your boss fight, all that collected message of the day. Right, enemies detected. They've got little red triangles on the radar. I think this is an actually very well executed meme in light of the criticism. It's like the stripped down UI or the user interface is, I actually like that. Like, see all the question marks too on the mini map. Like, here's where something you don't know where it is. Go find it. And the question marks that you're even floating out there in the sky. And the thing is this is basically what so many games look like, right? Now, I'm not saying that, like, UI and UX designers, that's all they do is just basically put a bunch of crap on the screen, but it certainly, I think, shows that that's not a valid criticism of Elden Ring. It isn't. It's not that kind of a game. It's meant to be stripped down. It's meant to have virtually nothing on the screen, and I find the interface for your inventory, it's fine. Your inventory, your menu system when you level, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not particularly good, but it's also not particularly bad. It doesn't bother me at all. I mean, we were supposed to be talking about Elden Ring cheaters, but I mean, this is this may actually kind of take over. I'm actually curious. Elden Ring cheaters, have you encountered any in the wild? Yes or no? Yes or no? Have you? Actually, let's include everybody. Let's go with the UI thing. UI and UX. Good, bad, or doesn't matter. Is the Elden Ring UI, is it good, is it bad, or does it not matter, right? Doesn't matter. Good, bad, or doesn't matter. There, let's just do that. Let's just pivot to that a little bit. We can obviously talk about the cheating. If you've run into cheaters in the wild, with PvP, I want to hear about that. I do. I want to hear from you. So if you're in the audience, we're going to continue to ask that. If you've run into any Elden Ring cheating, and what's that done. But as far as the UI and the UX is concerned, I want to know, do you guys think it's good? Is it bad, or does it not matter? Rissick with a $10 tip. I like the way they did the open world aspect. Make more people search everywhere on the map. Also, thank you for the little note your family did with my coffee. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for ordering the coffee. And for the $10 tip. I like UI customization, big proponent. Phoenix made almost every aspect of the UI customizable, and you could turn off almost anything you didn't like. Can I vote twice? Is it bad? But it doesn't matter. Right, Harry. Right. Like, yeah, it's bad, but who cares? I actually really like the map in Elden Ring. I like that it feels like you found a drawn, like somebody's sort of hand-drawn map, and you're like, I don't know, there could be a cave there, there could be nothing, there could be a hidden place over there, there could be that. I like that. I like that they don't just tell you what's there and what's not. I think it's good. I think what they've done, I think is it makes it feel organic. It makes Discovery feel real. It doesn't feel like you're just sort of being told, go check all these boxes. Now, I'll be honest with you. I love map clearing in open world games. I really, really do. But the Elden Ring map, I think they've done an excellent job with it. They give you this sense of mystery, and if you want to go exploring, you can. And if not, no big deal. You don't have to. Caught my little brother cheating in Elden Ring on day one. Game was not even out for a full day, and he maxed out health and stamina bar. So disappointed in him. Oh, that's such a terrible way to play this game. Casey says, I summoned a hunter last night who move swapped a late game halberd with rapier, so he was stabbing super fast with it. So you summoned somebody in your game, a cooperative support player, and they were cheating. They were basically using a halberd at the speed of a rapier sword. Well, that's awful. Cheating in PvP doesn't matter if it's 3v1 or 2v1, can clutch potentially. Erebus says, I've met my fair share of cheaters, actually invaded a group of people who were dropping obviously duped Lord runes on the ground. They dropped 98 for the guy. Really? Really? So Elden Ring cheaters are out in the wild. They're duping stuff. They're cheating in PvP. They're cheating in co-op. Like they're coming in and helping you and breaking stuff. I love when games don't hold your hand. I've never explored a map more than I have Elden Ring. In other games, like Assassin's Creed, they tell you where to go, and my exploration just doesn't happen. You know what's funny is, in those games, I'm almost annoyed by all the crap on the map. So then you feel like, I gotta go get that question mark. I gotta go get that question mark. I have to go get that question mark, right? Yo, good morning, Victor. And when you do, you feel a sense of satisfaction, but you can also start to feel a sense of annoyance. You're like, come on, man. I don't want to do all this. It's almost like it provokes you to do completionism, but then the very sight of it almost exhausts you. You're like, oh my word. And the thing with Elden Ring's map is, you just find stuff and then it's on the map. And then when it's on the map, you're like, okay, great. What's this thing I got to do? I got to add this to my to-do list. And then it's on your map as a discovery. And if you don't do it, it's always there for later, right? You don't have to do it. You can ignore it. You can do it later. You can never do it. You can do it all right at the beginning. It feels like busy work. Right, it almost feels like a passive homework assignment. Yo, what's good, Feed? I see you in the chat. Zubair says, I almost have a hard time understanding the mentality of cheating to remove the challenge in a game defined by its challenge. It's like cheating in solitaire. If you're just tuning in, the main subject is Elden Ring cheaters. Have you run into any? I want to know. But a secondary subject came up. Some of the UI designers and people that worked on the Horizon Forbidden West were being sort of passively critical of Elden Ring and not having good UI or UX and not having a quest log and still selling like crazy. So what are your thoughts on that? You can leave your thoughts about the UI and the UX above on the poll. Let me know if you've run any cheaters and what they're doing. I don't care about cheaters in offline mode, says Casey, but once a cheater joins co-op or PvP, they are now hurting other people's experience. Obviously, selling runes is TOS breaking, but duping, I don't care, not my game. Right, I can see being kind of hands-off. Like, I don't care if you cheat, I don't care if you do that, but if you come in my game, you're going to ruin my experience. I think that's exactly right. As soon as you do that, and that's when people are getting banned. They're coming out of offline mode, and some people are getting bopped. Do you have Elden Ring running on your PlayStation 5 right now? Interested what the current completion rate is for the first boss trophy. Like, how many people paid and have passed the first real checkpoint? Well, the first real checkpoint would be Margit. And I suppose we could check that later. I don't have it turned on right now. If you're new and you've clicked subscribe this morning, thank you so much for doing that. Every day we do a talk show like this. Lots of Elden Ring coverage as of late, and we greatly appreciate the support. Gameplay is in the afternoons, and I am a Safer Work broadcaster, so you can subscribe in confidence. If you haven't hit subscribe yet this morning, feel free to do so. It's how you talk in my chat. And we want to hear from you about the cheating. And don't forget to smash the like button. Thank you, MJ Talks, for doing 7 months of membership. Purple badge. What do you think of Ubisoft and Guerrilla taking swipe at software? Yeah, we're talking about that. That's what the poll's about today. I thought it was petty. I thought it was extremely petty. One of the things I love is when companies just celebrate each other. I love that about Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer is always celebrating what other companies do. Always. He doesn't take swipes. It just looks petty. It makes you look very unprofessional and childish. You're all out here doing the same thing, making video games. Gonna do another one of these spots here. If you're looking for an affordable microphone, we've been sent one by Tonor, and we've been promoting it. We'll do this one more time tomorrow, just to let you know. Very economical microphone, Tonor, Tonor. There's a link below in the description once the stream is no longer live, as well as a link in the chat if you use the command Tonor. $42, I believe, on Amazon. Now, obviously, this is designed for somebody that's doing like Zoom calls or Skype calls. You just want it to sound a little bit better. It is not obviously going to have like the full robust podcast sound that this microphone has, but this is a very economical option if you're looking to add a microphone to your home setup. So check that one out with the link below, or use the Tonor command. Eugene says 77% have beat Margit. Really? That's really high. Ryan with a 7-month renewal of the membership. Keep up the great work. Thank you, and for doing a tier 2. I greatly appreciate that. If you've never done a membership before in a YouTube stream, you get a green name, you get a badge next to your name, you get emotes. We have a Discord server you can hang out with if you're looking for people to play Elden Ring or Lost Ark. You get increased access when you're a paying member. So $5 a month, and you get all kind of goodies. So consider clicking that join button. Lono is working it so he can actually qualify for the Tonor giveaway. Yeah, no, they gave me that. They sent that to me. Wait, is that an artisan computer joke? Thanks for the comparison stat. Yeah. That's actually a pretty high completion rate for Margit. If you're tuning in, we are talking about Elden Ring cheaters. And how many have you run into, if you've run into any? There's cheaters that are getting banned once they come out of offline mode, but there are those that are showing up in co-op and PvP. Not very good. You don't want to see that. And then also asking questions about the UI and the UX in the poll above. Now, Eugene says, why is that high? It's the first main boss. Because he's really hard. He's really hard. Like, it wouldn't have surprised me, Eugene, if it was a 50 to 60%. 77 is high in my mind. It is. Because you got to think about the number of people that bought this game, because similarly to the way that Returnal sold, we're in a bit of a gaming drought. And being in a gaming drought, it's not surprising to me that lots of people have bought, Elden Ring and been like, I don't know. I don't like this game. This game's too hard or whatnot, or they didn't really know what they were getting into. They just thought it was another open world RPG game, which is incredibly hard to believe, but you'd be surprised, I think. What are they doing to get banned? So there's a variety of Elden Ring cheats out there. So there are some that give you just a ridiculous amount of runes so they can make themselves really, really strong. Somebody this morning described one as where he was using the halberd, a really, really big, slow weapon, but he was using it at the speed of a rapier sword, and he had joined his game to help him with the boss. And obviously that's going to throw off a fight. It's going to throw off PvP. If you imagine somebody using a great sword or something that's big and two-handed, and they're using it very quickly, that's going to completely throw off game balance. What is UI or UX? UI is user interface, and UX is, what does UX stand for? User experience? Thank you, John, always for 7 months. Double dip for the dope stuff. I've always thought that UX means user experience. Yeah. So user interface and user experience. I was right. I was like, okay. So the user interface is basically like the menus and the map and all of that. And the user experience is just sort of like how you experience those things. You know, is it frustrating or enhancing to your experience? And basically what happened was a couple of people that worked on Horizon Forbidden West were basically passively taking shots at Elden Ring. I think they look petty and immature, personally. It was incredibly unprofessional. Let's try and come through them, though, and imagine what they're feeling. So they spend all this time really making sure that the UI and the user experience for Horizon Forbidden West is pristine, okay? And then they see Elden Ring with a very rough around the edges UI and a very, like, sort of dated user experience from, you know, dating back to, like, Dark Souls and Demon Souls and Dark Souls 3 and all of that. And they're thinking, and because the first guy's tweet was, my life is a lie, right? My life is a lie. I've been spending all this time working on UI and UX, and it doesn't matter. You can still have a record-breaking game sale and have crappy UI and UX. And I can sympathize and empathize with the guy, like, yeah, you put a lot of work into that, but, like, do you understand how lacking in self-awareness you seem to be right now? Like, yeah, a really good game doesn't need good UI or good UX, you know? It's a really good game. Like, I always found, I'll be honest with you, I found some of the user interface in Breath of the Wild to be irritating and kind of clumsy, and yet Breath of the Wild was a magnificent game. And I don't remember the UI and the UX. I don't really remember it. I'm just like, you know, I remember it being kind of clumsy and clunky at times, and I didn't really like it, but it's still an amazing game. Answer your question. Why do we see more people beat in a boss fight compared to Returnal? No one can help you, and Returnal, so you need to get this stuff done by yourself. Well, Returnal, I don't know if the issue was not beating the first boss. I don't know if that was it. I think the issue with Returnal is people didn't like the game. Again, people didn't like a game that where you died, you went back to the beginning. They didn't like that. It wasn't about not beating the first boss. It was about they didn't understand they were buying a rogue. It's like, oh, wow, we bought a rogue, and you go back to the beginning if you die. I don't think that the boss completion was the issue with Returnal. That's not an issue, I don't think. Not as big of an issue as the dying and going back. UI or the UX can enhance a game, but like you said, you can have a great game with annoying UI or UX. I feel like the second boss, Renea, was easy. She was squishy. We'll be probably fighting her today. We'll be in the academy this afternoon. Honestly, I feel sorry for the guy if he's spending his life on amazing UI for teams where the other devs aren't doing their job well. Well, I mean, I don't even think that was the issue, right? They were taking a shot at Elden Ring because it was massively successful in its sales, and it doesn't have good-looking UI or UX. Like, let's really break down what they're saying. From their perspective, the gaming world should be like, your UI and your UX is not very good, and therefore we're not going to buy your game. Like, the commercial success of the game should have been directly affected by the game's UI. That's not a thing. Have you ever watched a trailer for the game and been like, can you believe it? I'm not buying that game. Why? Did you see that UI? Did you see when they paused the game? What a joke. No, nobody ever says that. Bro, I don't know if I'm going to buy that game yet. Well, why not? Well, they haven't really demoed the UI yet. They haven't really shown it off. That's never what anybody says. The number one request is always gameplay. Where's the gameplay? No gameplay? What is this? Just a teaser? That trailer wasn't real gameplay. There's a reason for that. Godric is at 64%. All those percentages seem right. Yeah, Godric at 64, that's what I expected Margit to be at. I expected Margit to be at about a 60. Fully agree, a nice game can be enjoyable despite bad UX, but the idea that UI and how it actually feels to use the game somehow has zero impact on the game's overall quality. Come on, that's just silly. Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm certainly not saying that. A bad UI can be frustrating, and it can hurt the experience a little bit. It can. But it's not... Their contention was with the sales. You know what I'm saying? They at least that's how I read it. What is this? Oh, somebody doing like goofy mods and stuff. Somebody find me the tweet. Where is the tweet? I looked at it this morning and I was like, the frick is this? What is this? Like, yeah, I would never say that bad UI doesn't affect the game. It certainly does. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about a whole host of things about Elden Ring. Number one, Elden Ring cheaters. Have you run into any? We'd love to hear from you if you have. Whether it's been in co-op, PvP, there's rune duping going on. So hit subscribe so you can talk in my chat. We'd love to hear from you. We also have a poll at the top of the chat about a separate subject, the Elden Ring UI and the UX, the user experience. Is it good, is it bad, or does it not matter? Most people are saying it's good or doesn't matter. Very few people are actually voting bad. The tweets are deleted and the account's locked. Did they all delete tweets and go private? Because I know the one guy did, but did they all do it? There was like 3 people on the main tweet in question. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find the screenshot here. HWF tweets Elden Ring. Let's see if we can find it. Let's see if it was in the news here. Where did it go? I saw it just this morning. So that's 6 days ago. I'm gonna have to spell out Horizon Forbidden West, I think. Horizon Forbidden West tweets Elden Ring. Here it is. Ubisoft and Sony devs criticize Elden Ring performance. Where are the tweets? Where'd they go? Somebody had screenshots this morning. This guy doesn't have screenshots because we're going to need screenshots. Here it is. Ubisoft devs throw shade. I think this is the one. Yes, here it is. What? No. God, what? Why would you make me download the image? Open image in a new tab. Yeah, it won't let me open the one image in a new tab. It just keeps downloading the stupid thing. All right, so I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to go to this, so that way you guys can see it. I have to open an image, like in a real clumsy way. Okay, so this was the tweet in question that kind of started it all. This guy says, the fact that Elden Ring scored a 97 Metacritic is proof that reviewers don't give a flaming crap about game UX. My life is a lie. Okay, so I misrepresented this. Let me walk this back a bit. They're not taking issue with the sales. They're taking issues with the Metacritic scores. I thought they were taking issues with the sales. I think somebody theorized that Horizon's sales dropped by like 80% the minute Elden Ring came out. In like the UK or something, like Horizon Forbidden West game sales like plummeted pretty quickly. And then this person responds, nor PC graphics, stability, and performance, apparently. Now, she is actually well within her right to say that. She's well within her right to say that, because the PC graphics and the stability and the performance is pretty embarrassing, okay? It's pretty embarrassing for this game, and it needs to be addressed, okay? It hasn't been completely addressed yet and patched. And then this guy says, the guy from Horizon Forbidden West says, nor quest design, right? Nor quest design. Now, here's the thing. When you get a 97 on Metacritic, I actually don't think UI and UX are significant portions of the score. That's my own take on it, right? My own take on it is UI and UX don't really matter. Now, the second person's comments about PC graphic stability and performance. Let's talk about that. We have to remember that virtually every person who reviewed the game on PC came out and said, it didn't run like that when we played it. And the one review outlet changed their score and said, hey, the day one patch has ruined things. I'm saying wait for a sale, okay? I'm saying wait for a sale. Don't buy right now, okay? Now, I don't know, is the guy up top, Ahmed Salama, is he the Sony dev? Is he the Sony dev? Like, what game has he worked on? That'd be my question. Okay, he's the UX director at Ubisoft. Okay, let's really read his credentials out loud here. You ready? Over on Twitter, that we're pulling this from a MP First article. Over on Twitter, former Battlefield 2042 dev. I want you to really hear that. Listen to this slowly. I'm going to say this really slowly for you. A former Battlefield 2042 dev. And now current UX director at Ubisoft, Ahmed Salama, his Twitter profile is now locked, pointed out that Elden Ring snagging a 97 average on Metacritic is proof that the game critics don't give a crap about game UX. Bro, you worked on Battlefield 2042. I would sit down and not say another word. That's really all we need to know. You touched, at some point, parts of Battlefield 2042, bro. Now listen, if all he worked on was the UX or the UI at Battlefield 2042, I'm going to be a little bit less harsh. I'm like, okay. That maybe that stuff's fine. The rest of the game's a garbage fire, bro. So probably not the best time, to speak about the quality of the game if you worked on Battlefield. And now you're over at Ubi, okay? Ubi's UI ain't much better most of the time. The UI and the UX of Ubisoft games ain't much better. Battlefield 2042 has no UI? What do you mean? It's got the map. It has where you go to your loadouts and stuff. Like, we don't know what he worked on, right? So I'm being a little bit cheeky. Okay, I'm being a little bit cheeky. We don't know what he worked on Battlefield 2042. He could have done great work over there. The rest of the game is garbage fire, okay? Like, you could work on the UI or the menu interface for Cyberpunk. It's not your fault that Cyberpunk is launched in the state that it launched, right? So I'm being slightly cheeky, but given that you worked on Battlefield 2042, I don't think it's the best time to speak about a game's quality. All right, now the second person, okay, is Rebecca O'Shea, and her tweet, she works for Nix's Software, which is a first-party Sony studio. She said PC graphics stability and performance. Again, I think her tweet's totally fair, because I said when I played Elden Ring on PC, I said this is embarrassing with how bad it's running. This is awful. It shouldn't be running this poorly. This is truly terrible, right? And then the truth came out, like. Skill Up came out and a couple other people came out and said we didn't have any of those problems when we played the press version of the game. We didn't have any of those problems, okay? So I took what they said as the truth, because really all we were dealing with is stuttering and frame issues. We weren't dealing with like the game being bad. We were dealing with really, really anomalous frame pacing issues, and a lot of people have attributed that to DirectX 12 and other situations with that. So it's like it's hard to say, oh, all these reviewers just played for hundreds of hours and lied or whatever. I don't buy into that. I think the guy that steps in it is the guy from Horizon Forbidden West that's like Nor quest design, okay? The quest design in Elden Ring is not really a problem. It's just a very different approach to quest design. Instead of something that's more traditional, like what you ended up with Horizon Forbidden West, which would be, hey, go here and grab this and grab a couple more and come back and talk to Dave, right? It's I would say I would say that's not a worthy criticism. So I think Rebecca makes a fair criticism. I think, again, I think the first criticism from Ahmed when he says, oh, they get a 97 on Metacritic and nobody gives a crap about game UX, that's super subjective. How many reviewers went into Elden Ring being like, what's a FromSoftware game? That's not the focus. You know what I mean? What on earth, Hilly? Why'd you type that? So I don't necessarily... Greyhound with a $2 tip. I missed this. Money on Academy Boss being in the 70 percentile. Really? Yo, Cat, I missed your resub, Cat. Cat with a tier 2. Thank goodness it's not Friday. Thank you so much, Cat. Welcome back. I appreciate that. I missed some of your guys' renewals. I appreciate that. As well as a lot of new subscribers. A lot of things are subjective. That's what I mean. If you're going into Elden Ring expecting to... Oh, Zubair said, you know what it feels like? It feels like, don't you dare insult my sister. I can call her this, but don't you dare say anything bad about her. I love how they did the story in Elden Ring. You actually have to get into the game and dig, no hand-holding. That's what I mean. So I think the quest design criticism and the UX design criticism, I don't think are very valid. I don't think they're valid primarily because when you play a game from FromSoftware, I think you go in understanding that their approach to UI and UX is very stripped down. It's not, it's utilitarian, right? Think of it this way. If the UI design in a game is bad and it interferes with your experience, then that's worthy of you taking points off. If the UI in a game is utilitarian and it gets the job done, but it's not super snazzy, that's not necessarily a cause to take points away. It's like, it gets the job done. It's not supposed to be super flashy. That's not the kind of game that it is. Do you know what I do 90% of the time I'm playing Elden Ring? I'm running around the open world and looking for stuff. I'm not looking in the UI and the menus, right? And then the quest design criticism. Again, I just think it's a different interpretation of what quest design can look like. At a certain point, it's a From game becomes kind of a silly defense. Sounds like when people defend Nintendo's by saying it's okay because it's Nintendo. I'm not giving them an eternal get out of jail free card. Like, oh, it's a From game, it's a From game. However, FromSoftware has always approached UI in a more stripped down utilitarian way. That's my point. So I'm not saying bad UI is excusable. I'm saying a more stripped down UI is what you should come to expect from these games. Have you done the quests? I've done a couple. Yeah, because I found the thing and then went back and talked to the girl and then went and talked to her and talked to there's a thing you do at the round table. I don't want to spoil. So there was a thing I did at the round table where like she was there because I did something, and because she was there, it unlocked like a little quest I could do, and then it unlocked, you know, something pretty significant that's like really helpful in the game. Howdy, my move out of NYC is complete. Hello from Pennsylvania. Well, oh, good for you, man. Hopefully that's a good move for you. It's like saying this Subaru isn't as polished as a vehicle as this BMW. Yes, that's part of the charm. That's what the Subaru buyers want and expect. Also, Subaru buyers are weirdos. Well, I would actually say it would be like buying a really high-end Jeep and expecting all the internal amenities to mimic like an Audi. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're buying a different vehicle. One's more utilitarian. One, it's not going to have all the posh and all of the polish and all those amenities. So it's a different type of vehicle. And FromSoftware games, their UI, it's just more utilitarian. It's just more stripped down. And that's okay. I don't think that's worthy of criticism or like taking points off in a review score, right? In my opinion, it's a new open world experience based on exploration, not point and go. Perhaps the way some people believe open world should be, and that's why they love it. You know what's interesting? I've seen at least 2 articles written that say Elden Ring gets open world right when so many other games get it wrong. And I could not agree more. I agree with that so much. I'm like, this is exactly how open world should be. I say that with a tinge of frustration because there are certain areas where I've done my darndest to clear them and I can't. I know I'm missing stuff. And I went back to Limgrave, missed some obvious caves, and they were a joke the other night, which made for a great stream because I'm laughing and drinking with Hilly, but it doesn't quite feel the same when you go back to Limgrave and you're like, oh, I missed this cave, and you walk through it and you're just one-shotting, slicing through everybody like a hot blade through butter. It's like, well, this isn't very enjoyable. Like, I'm a little frustrated by that element, but it's a good reminder, bro, when you get to a new area, really do your best to check every corner because there's so much to discover. It adds to the mystery. It adds to the mystique of, like, this barren wasteland has potentially something behind every rock, behind every waterfall, underneath every, blade of grass. The debate's frustrating. I like both Horizon Forbidden West and Elden Ring for different reasons because both games deliver on their goals. They don't have to be the same. Nobody complained about Breath of the Wild open world design, and they are very similar. Basically, just explore and the game unfolds as you do. Yeah, I mean, they give you visual indicators in Breath of the Wild of, like, there's these things you can look for, like towers and shrines, and that's about it. And you have the same thing in Elden Ring, right? Look for a church, look for this, look for that. I mean, and those things can, the big giant trees, And people did, in fact, complain about Breath of the Wild. Necro is correct. There were actually a lot of them, As a reference for Lono, based on the convo, I don't know how else to convey that. The boss names. We had it on stream. I think, I don't know if I might have complained about it. I didn't like and I was a different gamer back then, but I didn't like the fact that, like, I wandered into an area and got my head taken off. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about a variety of things this morning, two sort of subjects intertwined. The main subject is Elden Ring cheaters, okay? I want to know if you've run into any and what are they doing. I had somebody this morning say they ran into one in co-op. There's people duping. There's people making weapons behave strangely. There are people getting banned because they go from offline to online and they've been using a cheat and they get bopped. Obviously, if people are cheating in PvP and co-op, you would hope that they get caught quite a bit faster than just, eventually, because they're ruining the experience for other people. There's also people selling runes on eBay. I would encourage you to do none of that because you're risking getting in trouble, and it's against TOS. The second sort of subject at hand is the UI, the user interface, or the UX, the user experience of Elden Ring. Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Do you think it doesn't really matter? Because there was some criticism voiced by somebody who is presently the UX director at Ubisoft and someone who works for Nix's Software, which is a first-party Sony studio, and then somebody who worked on quest design for Horizon Forbidden West. You haven't noticed any cheaters? I get an idea. Let's try to, quote, keep it simple, stupid. Stop making the UI complex and not organized. Just keep it simple and quick. I agree, Christian. That's why I'm like, it's utilitarian. It gets the job done. It's not that it's bad. It just isn't particularly good. It's just sort of there. Quest logs. Anybody know the history? Did any game do it before the Bomber's Notebook and Majora's Mask? OG Zelda arguably did open world first. Zelda at the genesis of so many things, right? Yeah, you would have had to write things down in the original Zelda because you'd get little clues and little hints, and that was it. That was all you got. Now, I saw this feedback about Elden Ring. Somebody said, it would be great if there was a notebook in the game for me to go in and, like, type little notes and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I think that's a fair request, but is it that hard to do that on your phone? Like, get out the note thing, and you're going to type probably faster on your phone anyway. Get out your phone and go to the notepad and make yourself some little notes. Get out a little notepad and write. There's something cool about that. I remember playing games with my friend, a lot of the point-and-click mystery games like Sam and Max and others, and he had to do that. He would get out a piece of paper and, like, write stuff down, because if not, you'd forget stuff. You'd be like, oh shoot, I don't remember what we're supposed to do here. And then you'd have to retrace your steps and have repeat conversations with NPCs in the game. There is a notebook in the game? Where? Your items have lore tabs that tell you what you need to know. No, I mean like a notebook where you could like jot down notes. I wanted the old school feeling, and brought a notebook. It feels good to go back and cross out a quest. If you could type on your map markers. Yeah, that would be nice. Type on a map marker like, hey, there's a boss here or a cave here or something. You got to come up with your own code book. Like, right, get out your notebook, write down all the little logos and like say what they all mean. Or you could even write down like a sword icon in Limgrave, you know, on the southwest indicates a cave or something. I don't know. You've seen dupes of weapons already? That's unfortunate. I remember having to write down everything in the Suikoden games. Media can be graded on objective quality. What do you mean by that? I have never met or seen any cheaters yet. You haven't. A couple people this morning have already run into some. Yeah, the one guy said he was playing Elden Ring co-op, and a guy came in with a halberd, and he was swinging it as fast as like a rapier. So he somehow swapped animations or something. I've definitely always used text checklists on my phone for tons of stuff in both Horizon Zero Dawn and Fallout. I had a Zelda notebook. It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. Zelda was one of those games where, buddy, if you didn't write stuff down, you were going to forget. Just the other day, you were complaining you couldn't directly compare weapons. That's a UI issue. Okay, yeah, that's a valid complaint. I forgot about that. Yeah, when I'm in a vendor screen, not being able to compare the weapon to what I'm currently having equipped, yeah, I think that's a mistake. I would actually take points away from that. It's like, so what I'm supposed to do when I go to buy a weapon is back out, go to my inventory, memorize, 16 data points, and then go back into the vendor, look at the weapon. Like the Elden Ring vendors, they have all kinds of stuff. And it'd be great at a really quick glance to be like, no, this shield's garbage, or no, this sword's no good, or you know what I mean? But you can't do that. I guess they expect you to go back and forth between the two. I had an extensive notebook for Myst. Yes, Myst and Riven, you really needed to keep a notebook. I think Riven came with one, didn't it? Yo, what's good, Atwood? Fam's good. Look what Tom Henderson tweeted. A screenshot of the trash talker said Elden Ring didn't feel intentional or play tested. Well, I mean, if you played it on PC, after the day one patch, I could see why somebody would think that. You know? I could see why somebody would think that. They'd be like, bro, what's the matter with this game? It had significant performance issues at launch. Now, to say that it doesn't feel intentional, that's just not true at all. That's not true. Writing stuff down is like choosing a compass over a GPS. Yeah, but it's that kind of a game. Like, what's wrong with recapturing? Can we get 200 likes? We got a lot of people. We should have 200 likes. Come on, chat. What's wrong with recapturing, like, the old school feel of a game, especially in an open world game? So many games now, they just, everything's right in front of you, you know? Yeah, Tom Henderson slammed him. He said, it's probably not a good idea to publicly slam Elden Ring when you were the UI lead on Battlefield 2042 of all games. Oh, man. That's an oof. I'm just gonna retreat that with oof. That's an oof, bro. That is a big oof. Just bodied. Absolutely bodied. Paradigm Talk. Would you prefer a tour guide to the game and be told what to do, or explore yourself? It's a bit of a false dichotomy, Necro, because I do think games can give you slight direction and nudges and quest lines and things of that nature, and it's not a tour guide, right? It's not like we either have a tour guide that's like, and we're walking, here's East Limgrave, there's a cave down the path, if you're so inclined, and we're walking. Here is the first church. You're going to have to sneak past the tree sentinel if you don't want to fight him. He is a bit of a challenge, and we're walking. Like, you don't need an actual tour guide, or you just explore by yourself. Like, I don't find that to be the true split. There can definitely be a middle ground. Like, I wouldn't be opposed to randomly talking to an NPC and having that quest like in a menu somewhere. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Now, I'm not going to slam them for not doing it, but I certainly wouldn't be like, this is unbelievable. My sense of exploration has been damaged because 7 hours ago I talked to an NPC and I can go consult my menu about it. Like, you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. Like, oh, I forgot, I talked to the samurai under that place. Oh, I talked to what's-her-face in Limgrave. Like, just a light, reminder to go back to those areas or to retread or whatever. I don't necessarily think that it's either one extreme or the other. I consider UI and questing and UX to be something that's sort of on a spectrum of, you can go incredibly heavy-handed and you can end up with, this absurd just atrocity, right? It looks like a freaking mobile game. This is obviously somebody memeing, but the idea being like, here's your hotbar, here's your reminder, here's your mini-map, here's, it's almost like they turned it into Fortnite, It looks like the Fortnite UI a little bit. And, I definitely think that this is an extreme, and there's other extremes, right? You can go in the other direction. You can play a game where there is virtually nothing, no UI, FromSoft, where they give you these quests, you don't know which one you're working on, you don't know if you've progressed it, and you don't know if you blanked up or you messed up, and you don't know if you've finished. It's been a complaint of mine since I first picked up Sekiro. It certainly makes it hard to know, hey, did I do that? Am I done with that? Am I working on this? Am I helping this person? Yeah, you just kind of don't know. And a little bit of information in a menu wouldn't take away, I don't think, from the open world exploration. Like, if you're looking at Elden Ring gameplay and you're seeing people play on streams, something you might be noticing is a lot of these people know what's coming. They've either read a guide or they've already played through the game. So we forget that first playthrough, like the romance ends so quickly, and when that romance is over, everybody treats the game in a very, mechanical way. Question for you, Lono. What do you think about the summon Mimic? People are saying that the Mimic is so OP, it can beat bosses for you. Yeah, I've heard that. If you want to use it, use it. If not, don't, This is the way quest works, says Chappelle or Chapel. If you want special story beats in Dark Souls 3, you need your quote notebook. You want the Anri ending or the Sigurd special story, the game won't hold your hand. Derek says, sorry, but screw having no pause button. That said, I assume you could just hit the PlayStation button to kick you out to the home screen, which would effectively pause the game. I don't think so. No, I don't think you can pause it that way. I think when you go out, that game's going to continue running in the background. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about Elden Ring cheaters as well as the UI and the UX. There were some people that took to Twitter to criticize Elden Ring's UI, which is user interface, or UX, which is user experience. And we're talking about whether or not that's vital to the game. Is it bad? Is it good? Where does it sort of land? I also want to hear from you. Have you run into cheaters? You need to hit subscribe to talk in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. Cheating in Elden Ring has reached a new height. You can literally buy runes on eBay, and when you've paid, some random guy comes into your game and gives you the runes you bought. Yeah, I covered that this morning. You can either do it that way, you can buy the character, like they basically transfer the character to you. They transfer their login or whatever. They're creating accounts. Likely what they're doing is they're cheating to get the runes and then just dumping them in your lap or giving you the character. My son has a maxed out Mimic, and it definitely is not soloing late game bosses. It's still very strong, though. Could you corrupt your save that way? Well, some people are getting banned because they go on. They're cheating in the offline mode, and then they come into online mode, and then it detects the software or whatever they did to their save, and it bans them. So there are reports of that happening. What do I do if I need to step away? You die. No, there's no pause. No. There's no pause. I've always questioned why they do that, right? You know. How much sand can you have in your eyes at one time? What are you talking about? If you can back up your save, you can dupe them without any tools. If you back up your save, you can dupe them without any tools? Really? This game makes me want to wear a hooded cloak and walk through a moonlit forest holding an enchanted apple. For those feelings to resonate with me, tells me it's something special. That's such a specific thing. You could pause Sekiro? Yeah, you could pause Sekiro. Yeah, why don't they let you pause? The only pause is sitting at a grace. Even then they can come to the grace. I've had enemies aggro. Yeah, I know there's a pause mod on PC. I'm interested in if they've ever talked about that, right? Why is there no pause? What's the purpose? Invasions? Yeah, but if you're not playing online, I get it. You can't pause the game. You can't pause the game if you're going to have invasions or co-op because there's other people in the game. You can't pause an online game. But if I'm not playing online, what's the issue? Fast travel to the round table? Well, but you can't do that in the middle of a fight or something. Like, there's been times I've been in the open world and, like, my kids come in the room and I'm like, hang on. And I can't pause the game. I can't pause and be like, yeah, what do you need? Generally, they don't need anything that's, like, vital. They're like, oh, we need another episode of Bluey or something. You know. Greyhound with a $2 tip. My pause is crouching in a bush, not gonna lie. Thank you for the $2 tip. I appreciate that. Morning bots of the internet. What's good, Chest Pain? I've always loved when my ass wifes me, is this a pause game or a no pause game? Yeah, because there are games you can't pause. I guess I just assume it adds a little challenge. I think it's pretty artificial, though. I wonder if it's because so much of the game is meant to be online, right? I don't think it's meant to be a layer of difficulty. I think it's because so much of this game is meant to be online. You're either playing with somebody, you're potentially getting invaded, or you're potentially seeing like the messages or the ghosts moving around. That'd be my only thought, is they're thinking that like most people are going to play Elden Ring online, and therefore we don't need to let them pause it. You can't pause, but you can save, upload the save file manually to the cloud, and if you fail, just download the save file so you don't lose anything. Oh, that's so cheesy. I don't like when people save brute. If you're tuning in for the first time today, we're talking about two different subjects. Elden Ring cheaters. Have you run into any? There are people doing all kinds of different things, and some of them are getting banned. There are people selling runes. I'm encouraging people to do none of this. Don't buy runes on eBay. Don't use cheats. It's a terrible way to experience the game. We're also talking about the UI, the user interface, and the UX, the user experience. Some devs from, Horizon Forbidden West and Sony took to Twitter to kind of criticize this game getting 97s on Metacritic and yet having bad UI and UX. This guy says, opinions are opinions, but frankly, this is just a frighteningly weird take on Elden Ring. The UI might be at the worst dated, at this being essentially a revamped versions of the Dark Souls UI, but to call it bad, yeah, I mean, I find it to be utilitarian. Not bad, just stripped down and basic. Although, comparing equipped items at a vendor is a severely lacking feature. I will say that I'm not gonna shy around the fact that like I don't mind the UI. I find it to be utilitarian, not bad. It's just stripped down and basic. Although comparing equipped items at a vendor is a severely lacking feature. Like, apparently the guy deleted his tweet. Why do people do that? What, did he write another one? He didn't. He deleted his reply. I find the UI simplistically charming. I would call it bad because it's missing basic features that I would expect. What platform is the cheating happening on? Almost assuredly, it's all happening on PC. That's almost a guarantee. It's almost a guarantee that almost all the cheating is only happening on PC. There's no way it's very unlikely it's happening on console. Why do you want to rush through the game, enjoy the experience? We haven't had a game like this in a while. I'm very much enjoying taking my time. I honestly wish more games would have the UI HUD be a part of the world, like the way in the Dead Space games, rather than the HUD on the screen. Oh, I love how they do the stripped down UI in Dead Space. I love that. It's so nice that, like, it's literally on your character as opposed to having all this junk on the screen. I love it. I think it's great. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, a little bit about the show. Name of the channel is Reforge Gaming. Everybody calls me Lono. We are here Monday through Friday doing a talk show like this. Variety gaming news coverage. We've been deep in covering Elden Ring. That's going to change in a couple of days. I'm sure there'll be other gaming news things worthy of coverage. We do Elden Ring gameplay in the afternoons because I'm still trying to complete the entire game. It's going to take a while. Every Friday was dubbed From Friday, where we talked about Elden Ring in the morning and played a FromSoftware game in the afternoon. Like, I'm kind of a new FromSoftware convert. Recently just beat Dark Souls 3 and Sekiro for the very first time. So for now, we're doing very heavy on the Elden Ring coverage. If you're enjoying the show, I am a safe for work broadcaster. So make sure and hit subscribe and the bell button so you don't miss these shows throughout the week. A lot of people treat me like video game radio. You can also look up Reforge Radio and Reforge Gaming. Those are kind of our two podcasts. You can look up those two shows on any podcast platform. So this content does hit, Spotify and iTunes and all that. And outside of subscribing and smashing the like button, it's free to subscribe. You can subscribe in confidence. I'll be in your sub feed all week with a nice safe for work broadcast and hitting like. Those are free. There are other ways to support the channel. I like to highlight these every once in a while. You can click the join button. That gives you a badge, a green name, and it gives you emotes to use in my chat. It also gives you increased access on our Discord. So you can click the join button or use the join command in chat. All the relevant commands kind of cycle down here in the corner. And then, this is not a sponsor. Our coffee is ours and ours alone. Rageless Roast. And we have a light roast and a dark roast. If you're a coffee drinker, you should definitely check it out. People in chat will tell you how good it is. With the balanced acidity, it's extremely smooth and drinkable. Some people that like creamer actually drink this black because they say it's just so drinkable. And then we have sponsors that you can check out. My shirt is from 80s Tees. You can get a 30% discount over there if you use code Lono. The disc plate's in the back. And my glasses are from Gunner Optics. If you need some blue light blocking glasses or some sunglasses, use my Gunner Optics link below or the command in chat. Yo, Rogue Necro coming in with a 3-month renewal. As a graphic designer, I understand the differences in importance of style. I wouldn't say Elden Ring's UX is bad, just different. Much love lurking today. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I got some of this is supposed to be trial and error. It just decentivizes trying new gear until you're stacked on mats. Yo, what's good, African Jedi? What upcoming games do you plan on covering in the future? Well, they need to be pretty big because, the little indie titles are cool, but we'll probably gravitate toward bigger releases in my mind. We probably would gravitate towards bigger releases. Now can I reply to this guy's tweet? There we go. He must have went back and rewrote it. But a base weapon can be upgraded to different paths. You'll never know what the base weapon will be. What are you guys debating? The detection level of the enemies is so low, you can just stand in the brush and pause. I've done this numerous times. Walked away from the game, came back, and found my character undisturbed. You will also change the name of the coffee to Reforge Roast. We're not doing that anytime soon. It's not off the table, but for now, we have reordered and labels and everything else. And so for now, Rageless Roast is a perfectly fine name. A rebranding of that to pull it under Reforge is certainly a possibility in the future, but not right now. Not right now. How many of you did not know you had consumables in crafting that you could do even though you're level 70? Yeah, Tiny Tina. We'll probably check out Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I don't know how much we'll play it after one day, though. It depends. we are in a bit of a weird situation with this channel. The main driver is the talk show, and Elden Ring gameplay has been doing well for us. We hope that continues, obviously, because I would like to really take my time with the game. And you need to get into Lost Ark Endgame. Would like to hear your insight on that. The challenge with Lost Ark is that the viewership is terrible on YouTube, and I can't tank the channel. Even though I love the game, and you guys love the game, and we have a guild, I've been doing my best to log in every day and give my donation to the guild. And I would love to cover the game. But, you know, when, like, at most less than 1,000 people are watching the game on YouTube, it's really hard to dedicate gameplay to it. Tiny Tina, I honestly ended up deleting it, the older DLC, not the new game. Yeah, the older DLC was meant to be played at the conclusion of, like, playing through Borderlands 2, the main story, as well as, like, 2 or 3 other DLCs that came out before that. So I can understand why Tiny Tina's DLC all on its own didn't make much sense. Because it was never conceived of or designed to be that. I don't know. I kind of feel like they were... I don't know. It felt odd that they did that. It really, really did. You're not the only person that has expressed this idea that, like, Tiny Tina's DLC didn't feel like it stood on its own, you know? Because DLCs generally don't stand on their own. They tend to come after. Like, the game launches, and you play it, and you go through the story, and the progression, and the leveling, and then they do a DLC, and then they do another DLC. So, I think it's a poor decision to sell it without the main title. Yeah, it was such an odd decision. I don't see how that experience could be a smooth one. It feels so ripped from its foundation to be like all by itself. Like, I don't know. I find that to be an odd decision, but to be fair, I think the criticism is not as much about Elden Ring as about the review process. Elden Ring is literally getting a lot of passes for things that other games get trashed for. Well, right. Yo, what's good, Mo? With 7 months. 7 months. I thought I'd been around longer. Than that, it's cool. Keep up the good work. Bro, Elden Ring, the phenomenon. Yo, Mo, I think it's probably because you have a longer membership on the other channel. That would be my guess. Thank you for the incredible strong turnout this morning and joining in the conversation and voting on the poll. Let's check the poll results. Elden Ring UI and UX, good, bad, or doesn't matter? Most of you are saying that it's good, 51%, and then 41% saying it doesn't matter. It didn't suck, but it felt entirely like a chore. Backtrack here, go here, constantly manage a bunch of crap guns. I wasn't mad, it was free on PlayStation Plus. Yo, what's good, Light Leap? What's with the hate on Elden Ring? Well, we're talking two different subjects this morning. Like, Elden Ring cheaters banned is kind of the headline, right? Like, there are cheaters in the game, and there are, thankfully, some of them are getting banned. And, I wanted to hear from the audience, like, are you running into any of these cheaters? But then there's also the criticisms of the UI and the UX. And, are these valid criticisms? Listen, Corey, I think you've hit the nail on the head. To be fair, I think the criticism is not as much about Elden Ring as it is about the review process. Elden Ring is literally getting passes where other games are trashed for. Right, and here's the thing. I think what's driving some of their frustration, and this is legitimate, this is why I said the one woman's tweet was the most legitimate tweet in the bunch. She brought up PC performance, okay? That's valid. And a lot of the review outlets replied, not to her, but they replied to the situation. They said, it wasn't doing this when we played it and reviewed it, right? Even people that were experiencing stuttering and frame rate issues on PC, they said later in the game it was gone, right? And like, because SkillUp said he had some issues with that in the beginning of the game, and he said the further he got, it just stopped happening. So that opening area, for whatever reason, has some kind of an issue. And so I don't think they were giving Elden Ring a pass. I think they were literally like, our version didn't do that. Like, what do you want? The day one patch seemed to, have some issues, right? I watched you taking your time with your brother. No, just my friend. That was Hilly. in the party. I think there were drinks involved. You guys really took your time. Absolutely great. I loved it. I'm glad you guys enjoyed Friday night. I think we're going to do that. I think we might do it one more time, unless the gameplay just completely falls off this week, which would be incredibly heartbreaking. We'll probably do that one more time. And then I think I'll be out of town on the 18th. So then once we come back after that, we'll probably be moving that show over to Reforge First Look. So we can do First Look Friday night, or Friday night First Look. So that way Hilly and I can be playing new games and trying out new games on a smaller channel that won't be necessarily an issue for this channel. This channel is doing so well. We have to be very careful about going live and having, poor performance. It's just the reality of being a YouTuber. If Hilly was Lono's brother, I would worry for the sanity of their mother. All good except, yeah. That's true, Lightly. I'm excited for gameplay today. Lono's at a good place. Yeah, we're in the academy. Yeah. Friday was awesome. Love the way you've been playing and taking your time. Thank you. I got a little complainy on Friday afternoon. I want to avoid that. I got a little complainy. We were in an area of the game that was irritating me. We had some spammy enemies, and we had some irritation. It was like, here's what I do. I don't know if you guys do this, but when I'm doing those Elden Ring gameplay streams, okay, and I'm hanging out with you guys and I'm playing. Number one, it's in front of a live audience, so there is a bit of an ego involved. Like, I want to play well, okay? I want to play well. I think that's fair. I don't think that's weird, okay? And I really like stumbling upon a new boss and whooping them my first try. I'm not talking about Margit, and I'm not talking about Godric. I'm talking about, like, I'm wandering in the open world, and I run into some dude in a boat, or some tree man or something. Beating them first try feels really, really cool. It does. You want the bloodstains and the messages gone? Switch to offline, and they'll disappear. Well, unless you like playing online. So I like that, right? You've gotten less complainy over time, no doubt. Yes, I've tried not to be complainy. I'm not a FromSoftware guy. It's been a slow and painful conversion, okay? It's been a slow and painful evolution. I'm prone, right? I'm prone to getting irritated and complaining. It's just part of my personality is to be critical. It makes me good at criticism of games, but every strength has a weakness, right? The strength of being critical about things is that you can be prone to criticize everything. And when I don't beat the boss the first try, and I feel like it was a cheap death, right? I'm gonna get pretty angry. I'm gonna get pretty angry. You're supposed to die. I know you're supposed to die. But there's that ego, there's that pride. It's like, dadgummit, I want to beat this guy's first try. And when you get really close, right? If they whoop me in the first, if I don't even get them half health, I don't care. But when I get them way, way down, I almost have them beat, and I feel like something cheesy happens, bro, I get complaining. It's ego, I need to strip away pride and not be egotistical about it. It's just a game. I know you guys like when I get angry. I know that's part of the entertainment, but I'm going to work on that. I don't think it makes for a great stream when I'm complaining about every little thing. It's one thing to rage out in a boss fight. It's another thing to be like complaining about the shade of the flowers. Like, when this flower here could frick off, it can get a little much. It can get a little much. Lightleap says, I need to say this, you inspire me. After all these years seeing you play any game and you still haven't given up on playing well, much respect. Thank you, Lightleap. If somebody would have told me a couple of years ago, bro, you're going to be streaming full-time on YouTube and playing MMORPGs and FromSoftware games, I'd have been like, yeah, okay, whatever that multiverse... Is that a multiverse theory? Because I don't see that in the cards. I don't see that in the cards, bro. That's just not how I'm cut. And here we are. And I'm enjoying it. I wouldn't have been able to do it. There was a couple of times when I was playing through Dark Souls 3, I thought, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if I have it in me. But you guys tuning in and supporting it and pushing me helped me go. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Like, if the viewership wouldn't have been there, and if the support wouldn't have been there, I would have totally tagged out really early with Dark Souls 3. It was you guys that kept me going. I was like, well, the support's there. I mean, I might as well keep going. If folks are tuning in, I'd be stupid to not keep going, you know? I think the dig didn't hit. He took it as a compliment. And you still haven't given up on playing well? So you're saying you're saying I'm bad and I'm committed to playing well. Yeah, that wasn't your best work, Lightleap. You haven't been here. You're out of practice, you know? You're out of practice. Oh, he called me old too? You'll be playing Surgeon Simulator with the Brit in a plague mask. I've seen 1.4 million possible futures. In only one do you win. Why is his name Margit? Who comes up with that? What's next? Maiden slaughtering Iron Face Ursula, the cute. He's too old and bad to get the joke. I'm new to the channel, but you give a great combination of all the things I like on YouTube. Great commentary, funny gameplay, meaningful convo over on Reforge Radio. Well, thank you. Yeah, if you guys haven't caught the memo, our bigger channel, we switched it to split screen, and we tried it for a month, and there was too many elements of it that I didn't enjoy. So what we were doing is, like, we were covering, like, you know, industry news or content creator news, and I just felt like we were just going to get bogged down in drama. It's like, if I have to make another video about Pokemon, I'm gonna freaking puke on myself. So I was like, I don't want to do that. And I was like, well, let's just do shoutcasting. But the reality was, a channel of just shoutcasting was going to be extremely taxing for me and very repetitious and samey. It's like, this content's going to feel very similar after a couple of weeks. So we changed that channel to Reforge Radio, and we are now having more meaningful conversations about things that are happening in the world. We talked about Rogan and Samuel L. Jackson and Rogan's, you know, use of a particular word in the past. We talked about the Artisan PC giveaway controversy. I felt a lot of it was overblown. We talked about Kanye's new video. Today we'll be talking about Ellen. Ellen's being accused of objectifying some guest, some guy from Euphoria. Is it a double standard? Like, is she allowed to do it? Because if a man did it to a younger woman, like... So make sure and tune in this afternoon if you're interested in that conversation. Is there a double standard when it comes to objectification? Do these television shows intrinsically objectify their cast members anyway? So is this hypocrisy? So I'd love to hear from you guys this afternoon about that topic. We don't talk about that kind of stuff here. That's why we have Reforge Radio. Also, to be honest, this is your first actual Souls RPG. Dark Souls 3, people just told you how to build. You miss a lot of bosses and things that would have informed this playthrough. You'll be there, discussion format? Yes. Yes, Lightleap. We've basically gone, like, down the... We're going to have guests. This week, I believe we have Ginger Prime. And in the coming week, we have 30 and So Gaming. I'm trying to book Gothics. Andrew Schwab will be joining me. He and I have become friends through some random events, and so he'll be coming on eventually. So it's discussion format about, like, actual serious topics. So I'll have to find time to be there for radio. If you can't watch us in the afternoon, just support it somewhere else. You can go to Spotify, iTunes, anywhere, and just look up Reforge Radio. Support us there with the listen, or go watch the VOD. Either way, it supports. So if you can't be there for live, we'd love to see those live afternoon sessions just continue to get growing support. So that's why I loved Demon Souls. It's all about the RPG part. Wait, what? Andrew Schwab? Yeah, you might not have been here. I've been on his podcast like 2 times, Derek. We've become like friends. Like, I text him. It's the weirdest thing. It was the weirdest thing. It was total happenstance. The lead singer for Norma Jean hangs out here. I was quoting Songs to Burn Your Bridges by, because it was a very helpful album to me after everything I went through. And I remarked about a story where Andrew Schwab came out and they were opening for POD or somebody, and Andrew said, "Welcome to the main event," and we thought it was hilarious. And I told that story, and so this guy, the lead singer for Norma Jean, told Andrew the story. He was like, "I'm watching this guy, and he told this story about you." So Andrew reached out, and like, we met, did a Skype call, and he had me on his podcast now for the second time. And we're actually, he and I, working on something. He and I are going to do a project together, so keep your eyes and ears open for that. That should be really fun. That won't be on Reforge Radio. That's going to be its own separate thing. So we're very excited about that. I have a theory that ties most of FromSoftware's recent games together. It involves patches. Did you feel alive? We didn't like POD. We did not like them. We had reasons to not like them. Yeah. They were kind of D-bags. They basically sabotaged Project's career. Project found out years later. It's bad. It was bad. They were not nice. Atlantic Records was not nice. I actually thought that when I was playing through Elden Ring and we ran into that samurai, I was like, is that a Sekiro reference? But people said that like the dragon communion thing has been in the Dark Souls franchise for a really long time. It was interesting though to have a samurai warning me about dragon communion. I was like, huh, that's interesting. Like, coincidence? I don't know. 4:33 p.m. in Germany. 12:33 p.m. here in Japan. Wait. Don't you mean AM in Japan? It can't be 12:33 p.m. in Japan. Don't you mean AM? Shut up, Eugene. What I hate that. Because, like, what do agnostics and atheists have a creed that they don't live up to sometimes? Shut the frick up. They moved Japan to the middle of the Atlantic. Yeah, apparently. What the frick? Apparently. Where did Japan move? We don't use PM and AM in Germany. Found the snitch. Yeah, he's going to do 3 like this. No, he did 3 like this? What did he do? 3 like that in the movie, in Inglourious. He goes like this, right? And that's what gives him away? Because he should have done that? Did you ever make it to the Dragon Communion in Limgrave? We got over there on Friday night, Mo. We made it over there on Friday night. So if you guys didn't catch it, the Elden Ring gameplay on Friday night, Hilly and I'm having drinks and Hilly can see what I'm doing. And he's just kind of co-hosting. It's hilarious. Oh, it's so fun. We absolutely have a blast. And we were just roaming around Limgrave looking for all the stuff that I missed. Okay, part 1, patches in Miyazaki's in-game avatar. Since Demon Souls, he is in each game. Miyazaki directed, but not Dark Souls 2. He's a brilliant trickster that will woo you into danger. Wait, so is patches in Sekiro and Bloodborne? That scene is unbearably tense. It's so good. It's so good. Say goodbye to your balls. It's good. I like it. She didn't say anything about being in a basement. Brad Pitt's so angry. I have a response, but I'm going to be nice. Yeah, you wouldn't want to break your creed or your code, right? That would be a shame. To not live consistently like all humans. I enjoy the part of the stream where you're essentially saying, I can't fight that. I can't feel my face. I didn't say that. I'm drinking. I'm not on shrooms. I can't feel my face. I fought that guy and beat him. With that kept putting the blood on the what was he putting on me? Some kind of a bleed thing in Kylid. You were essentially saying that. I was like, there's no way I'm fighting this guy. And somebody's like, just roll behind him. And so I rolled behind him and just whooped the tar out of him. That's probably the highlight of the night. I'm clumsily playing the game. And then I almost left like 16,000 runes down there. I was glad I remembered. That was a whole level. Just chilling down there. I almost left him. And someone's like, you just roll behind him. And I was like, oh. And I beat him the very next time. There's some guy roaming around in Kylid. He's one of the tree guys. And I was like, man, I can't beat this guy because he puts that stuff on the ground and like you can't get away from it. And then if you try to attack him, he just puts it on the ground. And people are like, oh, you have to roll behind him. I'm like, what the frick? So I tried it one try. And I got him. It was good. What's good, Abe? Commander O'Neill? I don't know his name. If you go from the section right to the southwest of Kylid and you go northeast into Kylid, And there's a tree guy like right there. There's like a church, and you go down this little hill, and there's like one of them tree guys. He was so hard, and somebody just told me to roll behind him, and that was kind of the end of it. FromSoftware games created their own genre as well, therefore you can't straight across compare them to something like Far Cry. They're the same genre. RPG is not all encompassing. Part 2. Patches and HM know more about the truth of the game than anyone. Patches even survives to the end of times in Dark Souls 3 to wish you a happy Dark Souls to you. Yes, he's in Sekiro and Bloodborne. Huh. It's Erdtree Avatar. Uncle Sam, are people insulting or hiding your precious from you? What's this guy saying? FromSoftware games aren't created their own genre. They aren't the same genre at all. RPG is not all encompassing. Yeah, I'm not sure what exact point he was making. Started an astrologer and he's squishy. Did you guys see the footage of the Elden Ring samurai that I tweeted? Now, obviously, the guy is incredibly overpowered for the Margit fight, but man, he put the hurt on Margit with that samurai, with that katana. I was like, holy moly. And so I kind of memed it. I said, I retweeted the video and said, Alexa, set a reminder to play as a samurai in Elden Ring. It was like, gee, many Christmas. I had a lot of people tell me to pick a samurai. They were like, listen, when it comes to all the Elden Ring classes, they were like, the samurai has got a lot going for him in the early game, Bleed builds are OP. Yeah, I'm trying to switch to the Bloodhound. It's just so slow compared to my opening sword. And so I'm gonna try to use it in the academy this afternoon, and we'll see if I can do it, because I want to expand my weapon horizons, because like I get on these like real quick like little swords, and I know that there are other swords in the game that could pose equal threat and be very enjoyable to use. So I don't want to do that thing where I limit myself and get stuck in like a rut where I just keep using the same weapon, especially because it's like I want to come back and play the game on like alt characters and stuff. And that's going to be really hard to do if I just continue to only use one weapon type. Because it's nice to have that really heavy weapon. You start chunking them, and you use it wisely, and you choose your moments, and you can really shred. Some of the bosses. I think my frustration with the slower weapons is when you're in like the open areas and you're just fighting like trash ads. That's when it gets really frustrating. Because it's like the rhythm of those fights, they feel it's like it's harder to get into a rhythm because you're swinging this big honking sword like super slowly, and then you have like, I have a hard time with the trash ads. Like when it's just me and a boss, I can like adjust. Do you know what I'm saying? Have we hit 300 likes yet? Oh, there we go. We just hit 300 likes. Let's shoot for 400. There's plenty of people here. If you haven't smashed the like button and you've been enjoying the show, if you're mobile or whatever, close chat, hit the like button, and then pop yourself right back into chat. Would love to see some strong likes on the video. A really strong turnout today, and a ton of new subscribers as we scream towards a 13.1 subscriber count. I started my character over. I was a prisoner, but I changed to hero. Patches is a spider with a human head in Bloodborne. I'm playing 3 characters consecutively, and it's really enjoyable. Even having a main and an alt will improve your experience of the game. Any game for that matter. I demand greatsword use. Play to Bloodhound's strengths, which is its bleed. And the weapon art is amazing. Its bleed, its reach, and its weapon art. Right, so on trash ads, like, you basically have to form the habit of swinging way earlier, because if not, they're going to get close to you and then you're going to be too slow. And then you have to play passive. You can find the Ujigatana Katana, samurai sword or weapon in Elden Ring by heading to this place. Okay. I try not to read stuff like that out loud because sometimes people don't want to know. I've had Ben Kingsley stuck in my head all weekend. Get the rhythm. What's that from? Late game bosses are super fast with very small openings. Way too hard to use heavy weapons. Yeah, Kenpachi, I've heard that. I've heard that a lot of the late fights, the enemies just get crazy fast, and it makes it hard to use a lot of the different weapon types. I switch between the katana and the other sword. The katana when I'm running around, and the other when I get to the boss or a bigger enemy. I love to use the bow and one hand with the shield. The length of the weapon actually makes it feel and play different. Are you on PC? Do you ever play with viewers? I have a save on PC that I've done basically nothing with. I've basically done nothing with it. I just test out that opening area whenever they patch to see if, like, the performance gets better. Pair the Bloodhound with the claws. You can have your cake and eat it too. With a stun lock first weapon that inflicts bleed and set up for big damage with the Bloodhound. Wait, so what do you do? Do you run the claw on the left? And then the Bloodhound on the right, and then so you claw them up, and then switch to two-hand on the Bloodhound? There's a guy leaving messages on the ground for 35 million ruins for $10. I wish you could report that. That's against TOS. I'm using the Moonveil Katana, and it will stagger bosses every 2 to 3 hits. It's pretty awesome. I was considering getting it for PS4 and using that on a PS5 if I ever get one, so I can have the really good load times. I'm playing the PlayStation 4 version on the PlayStation 5. That seems to be where the most consistency is, which is, you know, a bit of a disappointment that that's still the reality. No. I killed an invader about 7 hours ago with frost breath. He ran into the fight. The host and I just opened up with it as he did so. We instant killed him. Now, I've heard there was a guy earlier saying he had a guy join him for co-op that was clearly cheating. He had basically got his halberd to swing at the speed of a rapier sword. Elden Ring pay to win. Next topic. Claw on the left, Bloodhound on the right. Bloodhound scales off deck, so you don't need to two-hand unless there are hard enemies or a narrow corridor to prevent bounce. If I one-hand it, though... Oh, because I'm using a shield right now, so if I one-hand it, I still get the weapon art as long as my left hand has no weapon art. Are you using a loophole to get better performance from Elden Ring? No. No, it wouldn't be any different than somebody saying on PC you can lower the resolution and get more stability in your frame rate. That's not really a loophole. It's a logical thing that people do to get consistent performance. There are plenty of things you can change on PC with games that aren't Elden Ring to get more consistent frame rate performance, because the more, you know, shading, textures, lighting, or resolution that you push, the less consistent frame rate that you're going to get. So me running I wouldn't say inferior, me running a lower resolution version on my PlayStation 5 is giving me better performance. And it's not a loophole because it's literally right there. I have both versions. I own both. So when I bought Elden Ring, I own both versions. I mean, if that's some kind of a roundabout way to loop back to the loophole of people getting a $10 discount on Horizon Forbidden West, I don't think you've successfully executed that argument. There are message templates. How is someone leaving messages outside those? What? I don't know. I thought you could type up a message. Are you not allowed to do that? Just don't two-hand the claw. You'll see if you use it. Weapon in the right hand gets priority with weapon arts minus shields. Oh, okay. I one-hand Bloodfang with Blood Flame spell. Use Reduvia Dagger on my offhand. If it bleeds, it dies. Okay, we're gonna try some of this today. We're gonna try some of this today. Make sure you stick around for the Elden Ring gameplay. We are at the Academy, and I'm gonna try some of this stuff. I'm gonna try some of this build advice. If you're new and you've never been here before, hit subscribe and the bell button. That way you can talk in chat and join the conversation. Have you run in to any Elden Ring cheaters? If you have, we want to know, what was it like? What do they do? We've been thoroughly enjoying our Elden Ring coverage, but we do cover a variety of content here, a variety of topics within the gaming world. So we greatly appreciate your support. You need a magic staff. I used a winged scythe. It's a weapon art. Its weapon art is fast, and it staggers and causes bleed, and the reach is fairly good. I found a winged scythe in one of the underground areas at like one of the ruins, like where you go down and there's the door you lift and there's a chest. There were like these ninja guys down there with like crossbows, and then the chest had a winged scythe. No cheaters, just some various gangers and honorable duelers. I love the winged scythe. The weapon art is so good. It's my roundabout way to take shots. If that was your roundabout way to take a shot, Robert, I mean, you you went around the world in a go-kart like that. It didn't work very well. My son has a plus 24 Uga Katana and a plus 10 Rivers of Blood, and he dual wields. Bleed damage builds up very quickly. It's fun, says Ashen. You can play so aggressive, and Academy's a good place to try since magic does clip chip damage. You got to rely on rolling more, and in exchange, you do so much damage. Right, that could be a way to mitigate magic damage, is to put the shield away and play aggressive. I wouldn't compare it to running lower specs on a PC. It's more like putting an old engine in your new car because the new engine isn't as good. Well, it's both and, Eugene. I'm putting a version on my PS5 that I know runs at a lower resolution, and it runs less, plant life density, Uchi Katana. Trying to pop my neck. That felt so good. Wing Scythe is one of the best weapons in the game. Really? I've completed the longest quest line just to get one of the best looking weapons in my opinion, the Royal Greatsword. Had to change my build in order to use it. Worth it. It hits like a truck. Lono has to roll more than he already does. Shut up, chest pain. Shut up. Shut up, chest pain. That is rude, bro. That is super rude. Gucci Katana. Yeah, the Gucci Katana is really expensive, but you're just paying for the name. You're just paying for the name. Friggin' Abe. I think you roll backwards too much. I'm like, no, I don't. I'm rolling backwards in this fight because I'm trying to heal. I'm trying to get away from his stupid explosion. That stupid sloppy knight with his big fat explosion. Like, that was something I complained about the other day. I don't like when an enemy creates 85 hurdles and they're like, you get half a second to do damage to me. That drives me insane, right? He's going to call those panic rolls calculated now. That's right. That's right. It drives me nuts when, like, the enemy's like, all right, let's just keep track on paper of everything that's going to happen in the fight. Are you ready? Okay. I'm going to cast fire. Check. I'm going to throw fire at you. Check. I'm going to light the ground on fire. Check. I'm going to swing at you. Check. I'm going to pound the ground. Check. Okay. Here's what you can do. After frames 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, frame 11 and half of frame 12, you can hit me. If you go beyond that, you're going to be, quote, greedy, and you will be punished severely, okay? So now that we've established that you get to do virtually nothing, and I do everything, okay, let's get down to business. Boom, fight. Like, it's so irritating. It's like, they give you, like, the tiniest windows to do damage. It's so boring. You're like, I gotta wait. Now's my chance. Wham, wham. Back away. You're like dancing around, you know, you're like running. All right, wham, wham. Okay, that's my contribution to the fight. I'll see you in 45 seconds. Come on. It drives me nuts. It isn't hard. It isn't hard. It's annoying. It's like, you're not allowed to do anything for 75% of the fight. Get out a stopwatch and, like, measure how often the player is getting to do something out of volition or pure reaction. Like it's so small. I just beat a boss yesterday that falls into this category. Really hope we get to see Lono get to that one. Wait till he runs into Rodden. Holy frick, the fight is nuts. I'm stuck on it right now. You get more openings if you hit harder and more aggressively. It's not epic otherwise. I disagree. I think there were plenty of fights in Sekiro that were insanely challenging and epic, and I'm in the fight the whole time. I'm not running away and staying away from the enemy. Rodden fight was hell. It took me 15 to 20 tries. First 2 times he just one-shot sniped me. That second phase move got me. Now do it without using your memory. That's such a good callback. That's why Sekiro is better. You have to figure out how to stun the enemy so you can create damage windows. Well, somebody was giving me grief about that. They're like, why are you always doing lunge? And I'm like, I'm trying to break their posture, right? If I guard counter, if I lunge, if I jump hit them, what the frick just happened? Oh, my battery. You know, you ever battery backups ever do that? They like cycle. It always freaks me out. Like my lights flicker and I'm like, is the power going out? And so like, what was I saying? Yeah, that's why I'm always trying to break their posture. Someone's like, why are you always lunging? I'm like, bro, I'm doing everything I can to break their posture. I'm sick of not being able to do big damage. Having long-term memory is cheating. Only goldfish can beat Elden Ring properly. Get stronger, young one. Rodden has one weakness I found. Not sure if I could have cleared it without it. Really? I learned to like dying in these games. Seeing a boss or invader pop off is 99% as cool as me popping off. Yeah, but after the 25th time, it loses its luster, does it not? I believe it's the jump heavies that add to posture damage. I think jump heavies are faster anyway. I found a crossbow when I went to the temple and I ran past the blacksmith and I used the stone sword key and it was in a chest in the back left of the room. I don't think I want to use a crossbow. Why do you like the crossbow? Just because of the ranged enemies that can be annoying sometimes? I mean, that would be my guess. You still didn't fight their best boss, Demon of Hatred. It's a soul-style boss in Sekiro. Uchigatana is the technical name. Hang on, I clicked out of something. Is the technical name for a katana that we know. Before that, it was Tachi. Using in-game mechanics or cheating. Dang pay-to-win players have to find a way to beat the game easier. That's right. Like Eugene said, you're a human fighting magic demons and demigods, so they got to be able to one-shot you. Well, I don't agree with them being able to one-shot you. I think a fight's pretty boring if you make one mistake and then you're dead. I don't like a fight that requires flawless execution. You got to be able to make a little mistake here and there and recover from it. I mean, that's absurd to be like, nah, dude, you rolled left, should have rolled right, dead. Like, oh, got to do the whole fight over again. I don't think they should be able to one-shot you. Is it just me, or is magic in Elden Ring way more supported than in previous games? Everything you find is something with magic. A lot of people have made that observation that magic is significantly stronger and more prevalent in this game when compared to the other games. Yeah. 87 hours and I'm an Elden Lord. Such a great game. Oh, congratulations. There's a special crossbow in the round table in this place. Okay. I'm trying not to read that stuff out loud. There's a couple people that watch the VODs and they don't want to know that kind of stuff. I didn't say one shot. Yeah, Eugene didn't say one shot. I think what Eugene was saying is they should be dominating the fight. If I'm arguing for Eugene, his pushback on my complaint was it's a demigod, it's a demon. They're going to make things almost impossible for you. It's going to be like they're 85% of the fight and you're 15. I'm just saying there's a rhythmic nature to it that's boring sometimes. It's like there's so much sitting back and doing nothing. I just get bored. I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just standing here watching you cycle through. Okay, that's that. Okay, that's that. Okay, now's my chance. Wham, wham, wham. And then I have to back away. Like, that's my issue with it. I certainly agree that sometimes, yes, this demigod demon from another world is going to slam the ground, throw rocks, swing a sword, summon something from the sky. And I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, I have almost no opportunity to damage this guy. I certainly don't have a problem with that, especially main bosses. But when like a side boss or like an open world boss gives you virtually no attack windows, it just starts to get boring. If that's like your third boss fight of the day, and that's kind of the theme of that play session, it just starts to wear me down. I'm like, am I ever going to be able to, get some hits in? Or am I constantly waiting? Okay, he's got that. Now's my chance. Wham, wham, get out of there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Eventually, like, I think what it is once you dial in that that's the way that fight's going to go, it's like, it's just kind of a snooze fest. It's like, okay, let me recover, bro. Yeah, we're like trying to run away. You're like, come on, give me a second. Give me a second. Maybe you just need to get good. That's come on. You can do better than that. Elden Ring is easy. Try playing Persona 5 Strikers Merciless Mode. Now that is hard. Persona 5 Strikers Merciless Mode is easy, Try climbing Mount Everest naked. Come on. Actually do something that's challenging, bro. If Elden Ring was a Ubisoft game, you would have paid real money in their store to get a Stone Sword key. That's right. Should be able to call a timeout. Yeah, timeout, bro. Timeout. I got to drink a potion. Come on. You're mistakenly saying boring for frustrating, although I understand you. It's been that way since Dark Souls 1. No, I'm not mistakenly saying boring for frustrating. I know what I think about it. I don't need you to tell me what I think about it. I think it's boring. It's boring. I fought 2 boss fights on Friday, and I was bored. I was like, this isn't frustrating or challenging. I just have to stand here and wait. It's like I'm at the DMV. It's like, okay, and number 42, your time is now up. And I go up like, wham, wham. I'm like, all right, go back and sit down. I'm like, okay. Just watch the boss do his thing. I'm not frustrated. I'm bored. I'm like, I'm not part of this. I don't know. I had 2 fights on Friday that were close together that were like that, and I was just like, I don't find it entertaining. I don't find it difficult. Apparently 15 million sold for Elden Ring in a week. Really? Is that correct? They did 15 million first week? Does anybody know the number of Stone Sword keys, the number of key slots in the world? I have no idea. Souls games are not for the impatient. Right, that's basically the challenge, Vanessa. In those fights, it's like, can you be patient and choose your moments? Because if you can't, you're gonna pay the price, Because I get really impatient. I get super impatient, and then you get your head taken off. You're like, I'm going in. I'm gonna try and get in a hit, and they're like, what are you doing? We've established you can't attack right now. Get out of here. I feel that way with the Crystal Bull boss and the 2 Crystal guys, and the other one, Magic, does nothing to them, so I'm at a wall on them. The bull takes damage. He just kills me as soon as I step in. Are you Are you under-leveled or something? Given enough time, Batman could beat Elden Ring with his bare hands. Reddit's having none of it. My response after seeing Horizon Forbidden West devs trash talking FromSoftware devs. Yeah. Like I said, they weaponize your greed. They know you want to get in there and stab. Yeah. It's true. It's like, it's almost like a psychological game. It's like, we are going to deny you volition in this fight for an extended period of time. And we're going to see how you handle it. Are you going to be able to handle it? Are you going to get ticked? Are you going to rush in like a dum-dum? Okay. Let's see how it goes. Like, yeah, they definitely pit your volition and your desires against you. Got here late. What's happening? We've been discussing Elden Ring cheaters. We want to know if you're running into any. We've had a couple people say they've run into them in co-op, PvP. Cheaters are getting banned because they go from offline mode to online mode. We also wanted to know what you think of the Elden Ring UI or the UX. Almost 1,000 votes on the poll. Most people saying it's good. 41% saying it doesn't matter, right? The UI being the user interface, the UX being the user experience. Some of the a Sony dev and a for Horizon Forbidden West dev basically said that they felt the UI and the UX were worthy of criticism. Like, the game shouldn't have gotten such high scores. Can you really complain about the difficulty of the game when you don't get off the horse and summon every fight? Have you beat the game, Abe? Then shut the frick up. To be honest, I'm just glad that all the silly people were like, Horizon Forbidden West is going to be bigger than Elden Ring, are in the corner crying right now. I love it. I still think it's a contender, Wheezy. I think it's a contender in a lot of categories. I think Horizon Forbidden West crushed it. And I think it's a contender in many, many categories. But I stand by my statements last year. It's Elden Ring's year to lose. From everything we saw from the tech test, I was like, it's Elden Ring's year to lose. Like, game of the year, it's theirs if they want it. Like, zero doubt in my mind that it is theirs if they want it. I haven't even booted it up. I'm not a fan of smashing my face into a wall over and over. Okay. So you would go into a gym and make fun of a guy's technique for lifting weights while you lounge and eat potato chips. I get it. No, it makes sense. It makes sense. You're the armchair quarterback. It makes sense. Those who can't, criticize. I said earlier, these cheaters are probably the same people who complain about not having an easy mode. Like, FPS cheaters will cheat because they're not good at the game. Yeah. Wait, another game came out recently other than Elden Ring? Can I just say, on a personal note, I love that Elden Ring has absolutely dominated and cannibalized the gaming news cycle, as well as like streaming outlets and YouTube. I love it. I absolutely love it. For very personal reasons. It brings me unique joy. It brings me unique joy. Do you expect me to do anything other than armchair QB? You know me. I'll be on the opposite side of Lono. No, I get it. Is the guy in the gym trying to lift the weight with a semi pulling against it? Listen. There's nothing wrong with staying on your mounts in this game, and there's nothing wrong with using summoning. It's in the game. It's there to be used. Elden Ring good. You fanboys are just pathetic. It's objectively bad, but every metric used to quantify how good a UX design is. It's funny that you would say we're pathetic as you can't even make a coherent sentence. Like, is it difficult to type a coherent sentence when you're really insecure? Like, how insecure are you in your position that you have to preface it with, it's objectively bad? Really? Really? Like, you're objectively intelligent? Is that the same measure? You are as objectively intelligent as this game is objectively bad. That's our measure, right? Yeah. So are the emotes in Elden Ring useful? Do they unlock things? There are like puzzles and stuff sometimes where you have to use an emote. Yeah. I don't dodge from games because they're hard. I dodge them because of the mood they would put me in. Oh, for sure. I used to tell people that. I was like, bro, there's no way I'm playing that game. There's no way. It's just going to put me in a bad mood. It's just going to put me in a bad mood. I think I've kind of proven that that's not true anymore, because like we finished an Elden Ring gameplay session, then I have to go over to Reforge Radio and like talk about a serious topic. It's like I think I'm doing okay. I think I've managed it as well as I could. Yeah. Forspoken got delayed. Yeah. October. Yeah, it's not coming out this year. Forspoken is not launching in 2022, dude. Write it down. No way. As soon as you hit fourth quarter, I just doubt. I'm like, no, it ain't coming out, bro. It is not coming out. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good thumbnail, Creature. What's good, Sven? I look at From games like marathons. Like, you do you, but I prefer... That's right, Zubair. I literally saw a YouTuber get destroyed and keep complaining, and then someone came in and joined them to help them beat the boss. Man, everybody can play the game the way they want, you know? Problem with the game is there's too many bosses that require specific weapons to fight. I don't think that's an accurate statement. I don't think there are bosses in this game that require specific weapons. I don't think that that's true. They certainly will help. But they're not required. They are certainly not required. So that's not true. Now, there are things you can do to like mitigate magic damage, but you don't have to. I was irritated about that the other day. I was like, I don't want to change my build. There is a boss that does. Oh, there is a boss that requires a certain weapon? Like what's his face in Dark Souls 3? The giant guy? Bjorn or Born or Jorn or whatever the frick. Like the coolest looking boss in Dark Souls 3, and he's a gimmick. I'm seeing tweets about Elden Ring being hard with confusion and difficulty, making it inaccessible. Yeah, Yorm. Oh, it's like Yorm. Okay. A Yorm 2.0. Yay, I can't wait to complain about that. Specific weapons. Look at Lono. He's forcing his way through the game with a dumb longsword. Yorm's still salty about that. He's such a great boss. He looks so cool. His animations are cool. His environment's cool. And he's a gimmick. It's so irritating. He is such a cool boss. Did they give you a weapon in the encounter, and does it require reading Lono's ultimate nemesis? I literally read it. Imbue. Imbue means charge in Eugene's world. When you read wikis, you know what it means. It's easy to know that imbue means charge when you read a wiki. I'd rather do Yorm than this boss. Oh, great. That makes me feel good. That makes me feel real good. Thanks for reading my statement, but I'm right. After 200 hours of gameplay, I know this game, trust me. So, the fallacy of appealing to experience, that makes you right. I've not seen a single other person who has beat this game up one side and down the other saying what you're saying. That you have to use certain weapons on certain bosses. No one else is saying that. Like, a secret boss that requires a special weapon is not every boss in the game. So, you've overstated your case. There's no way you can substantiate your what you're claiming. There's no way. Plenty of people have beaten this game, played it up one side, down the other, and they've not said what you've said. So clearly what you're saying is subjective to your own experience. Like, it's a conclusion you've come to that is not accurate to the game's, like, how they built the game. I don't read wikis for boss strats. You would rather be known as not reading or a failure to understand? Well, no, it said imbue the sword, which I thought meant, okay, I need to imbue it with the storm. So, like, I held it and then hit him and it wasn't working. I didn't know you had to, like, stand there for 5 seconds. Go find Bud. Ooh, he started a sentence off with Bud. I like you even more now. Bud, go find a video of someone fighting Malik Blackblade using anything other than frame perfect staggers or a cheese weapon. What I've said is highly accurate, Bud. I'll gladly bring up a stream and prove it. How to win friends and influence people. Make a big, broad claim. It's unsubstantiated. Call the person Bud, and then ask them to go do research to prove your point for them. You should write a book. How to win arguments and make friends at the same time. I fought Malik with 2 curved greatswords. There you go. Thanks for playing How to Be Wrong in 2 seconds. Have you even fought Blackblade? No, there's a guy in chat who said he fought Malik with twin curved greatswords. So I don't need to go do research. I have evidence to the contrary of your claim, which means your claim has been debunked. It's been falsified. Didn't ask you to do research? Yeah, you told me to pull up videos. Yes, you did. You literally said, Bud, go find a video. Like, I'm supposed to go find videos and research it. You're the one making claims. That stagger? You said frame perfect staggers. So he's doing frame perfect staggers with a greatsword? Let's go back to your original claim and see how far you've moved the goalpost, shall we? Let's go back to your original claim and let's see how far you've moved the goalpost. The problem with the game is there's too many bosses that require specific weapons to fight. Now you're claiming it's not specific weapons, it's that you need to do this or this or this or this. So it's not specific weapons like, oh, you're never going to beat this boss. Let's go to your second claim. Bud, go find a video of someone fighting Malik Blackblade using anything other than frame perfect staggers. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of people that have fought in him without that. I killed Malik naked with a jellyfish. You're terrible at arguing, no offense. Because rereading your statements and showing how you made a broad statement and now you attempt to substantiate that statement by moving the goalposts, you don't like when somebody does that to your argument? Let me tell you something, Bud. You can take your 1 minute long subscription to my channel and you can take a walk, Bud. You should change your name to Legendary Bud. Change your name to Legendary Bud. Give me a second. I have to swap the capture cards. Legendary Bud, can you hear me, Bud? Hey, Bud. Hey, Bud. Are you there? I'm still in the office. I'm moving something. All right, I'm almost back, Bud. All right, I'm back, Bud. A 10 spot from Odd Nobody. The only boss that I need to use specific weapon was Godkin. Had to use Bleed Dagger, Reduvia, but I'm a Strength Faith build. I miss Bud already. I already miss him. I already miss Bud. He was a good guy. he was something. The legendary Bud Isaacs. Oh golly. You gotta have fun. You gotta play with your food. And hang on a second. Let's turn this on. Is it working? Come on. Deactivate, activate. There we go. We'll turn that one off. We got to change the gaming rig to that. And it should be coming through. It might not be. Hang on. Let me go to advanced properties and make sure the gaming rig is monitor only. Yeah, it's working. Okay. Okay. Sven with a $10 tip. Hey, I'm giving you money, bud. When you think you'll catch Batman? I don't know. I don't know. I really want to see it. I'm gonna do my absolute best to see it, but we're gonna see. Oh shoot, we're late to the next stream. We spent too much time talking to Bud. The worst thing about this game is there's too many bosses that require specific weapons. A bunch of evidence provided contrary to the claim. Well, what I really meant was particular mechanics that are required. Carefully, passively promoted his channel. He's going to make a video about this. Oh, I can't wait for him to make a video that no one will watch. All right, let's hit continue. All right, I never changed my weapons for the games this Wheezy. The most I've done is change to a parrying shield. Because for the moment I got in, I immediately recognized just parry this guy forehead. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly the point. Main Academy Gate, East Ray Academy, Schoolhouse Classroom. Where was I? I gotta find the point of grace. Title of his video, Bud. No, this is not where I was. What was the room that I was in? It's not Church of the Cuckoo. Is it? Or was it Schoolhouse Classroom? Temple Quarter. Southgate. Was it the Schoolhouse Classroom? I can't remember which point of grace I was in the academy. Oh, this is it. Yeah, this is it. The place with the crystals. Okay. I'm gonna run upstairs. I'm gonna use the restroom really quickly. I'm gonna get back, and we're gonna be in the academy in Elden Ring gameplay. We're gonna see if we can't get this Bloodhound sword to work. All right, don't go anywhere. I am gonna hit ads when I step away. Consider doing a membership. We almost never run ads on this channel when we're live streaming, and the paid memberships help make up the difference. So consider doing a paid membership. I'll be right back. Okay. All right. All right, let's shift here. I should have sent the tweets before. Elden Ring gameplay. The Academy. And let's do that. And quote tweet. What's the Okay. All right, tweet sent. Announcement sent in Discord. Oh, that's not right. Your boy, Bud. Gotta go, Bud. Have a good stream, Bud. I gotta go boot my stream up, Bud. All right. You guys stop it. All right. We gotta do... What? That's not the right thing. Go here. All right, that's where we're going. Redirect should bring you with us. Hey, thanks for clicking on the stream. Continuing our gameplay of Elden Ring. We are at the Academy. I did some stream on a Friday night with my man Hilly. We are trying out the Bloodhound sword, I think it's called. We're going to see if we can't make it work here in the Academy. I know we're kind of on our way to a boss fight. I hope you enjoy my gameplay sessions. If you enjoy the gameplay sessions, don't forget we do talk shows in the morning as well. So make sure and hit subscribe and the bell button so you're here for them. We talked about Elden Ring cheaters this morning, as well as the UI UX criticism from Sony devs.